Hey everybody, welcome to Gross Anatomy. We dissect the Pitt, the first episode of season 2. Check it out.
All right, so real quick before we get into season 2, episode 1 of the Pitt, I think it's the most popular show in the world.
The Pitts. It's the Pitts. The Pitt.
This episode is the Pitts.
Pitt.
I wanted to know if you watched the Golden Globes.
I did not watch the Golden Globes. I saw a few clips, not a ton, but I didn't. Did you?
No, I just watched clips, like you said. I really like Paul Thomas Anderson, who won for One Battle After Another. He won for writer and director. And I thought, since you and I are both screenwriters too, I thought you might like that. He says that writers are like magpies, how they pull from other people. He was referencing the lines in his movie he got from random people along the way, and he just wrote them down as notes, clever things people do. He says writers mimic. So I thought you might like that.
And you're a screenwriter. I'm a wannabe screenwriter, but thank you. I appreciate and love the fact that you gave me that, but I'm a wannabe.
I'm a wannabe too, but people are like, well, you're a writer. So I'm like, all right, I'll try to say that.
There you go. Right. We're screenwriters. We're not whatever else we are. That's going to be who we are now. We're screenwriters.
But the only reason I really asked was the Golden Globes had the best podcast category, which we talked about a little bit. And Amy Poehler won, and she hasn't even been doing her podcast for a year. I mean, I like Amy Poehler, who doesn't, but I was curious what other people, podcast listeners, thought. So I went to Reddit, and basically the consensus was there's nothing more predictable than the most famous person in the category winning the award. And so I thought that was interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. That was the overall feeling of on Reddit.
That, and that there's so many other podcasts that have been around for a long time that aren't just celebrities interviewing celebrities, that it was weird that so many of those types of podcasts got nominated.
Yeah. Maybe they should next year have 2 podcast categories, the celebrity podcasts and regular people podcasts.
I know. I don't even really know why they did the podcast category to begin with, but
no, I think it's cool that they're acknowledging podcasts. I think everybody's always trying to get on ours, and we're just telling them no. So maybe we should start letting the celebrities who've been begging us to come on, so that we'll get nominated. But as much as I love Jason Bateman, and I really like his other 2 co-hosts, and I like Smartless, I think it's cool that they gave it to Amy Poehler. Maybe. I'm not sure. I like Amy Poehler. I've listened to Smartless. I've never listened to hers. Have you?
Yeah, I've listened to one. I mean, it's good. It's just, she's basically having a conversation with her friends, so it's, right. I think that's what people were saying. It's not that difficult, but it's lighthearted. It's good fun. So
yeah,
why not?
There you go.
And there you go. All right. So I watched, my mom sent me a clip of Noah Wiley. She watched CBS mornings or Sunday mornings, and I guess he was on there, and they did an interview with him, and he said, and they were like, what was the chance that you were going to do a medical show after ER? And he said 0%. But the reason he started the Pitt was because of COVID. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but he, in the first season, they really leaned into COVID and the trauma from COVID. So it makes sense.
And he said he was getting a lot of mail during COVID saying, we need Dr. Carter back out there. So I thought that was cute, and I just wanted to add that to the show.
Oh, that's really cute. So that must kind of be a little bit why he did it then. He was like, there's probably a need, a desire, a want. So he did that. That's interesting.
All right. So let's get into it.
Before we get into it, I have an interesting thing. We were watching it, doing our homework. Bernice and I, shout out Master Injector, shout out Bernice, and we were watching it while having dinner. And while I'm okay eating during watching that kind of show, Bernice had to stop eating because it's just too much. Mm-hmm. Too much. It's not a dinner show.
No, it's definitely not a dinner show.
Yeah. And with that, it almost feels like, you know how horror movies, and I'm taking us out of sequence a little bit, but you know how horror movies deliberately try to be horror movies? It almost seems like they're deliberately trying to just shock us. Like it seems like they're deliberately saying, okay, this is a gross out show. It's not like it's a lot. It didn't. I thought it was fun and cool and everything, but it almost seems like a little bit too much, or maybe not. I don't know. What did you have thoughts on that as not a medical person?
Yeah, I mean, we can go in order, but my thoughts are when it got to the nun with the eye infection, I had to look away. Like, there's certain stuff I just cannot handle. So,
Right.
yes, I do think there's a gross out effect to it. And I think, well, Noah Wiley in an interview also said they try to make it as accurate as possible. So I don't know if they're just like talking to ER docs about like the grossest thing they've seen and then adding it. That is my thought that they probably are. Like they're trying to find the craziest stories and that's what they stick in one
Right.
15-hour shift.
Right. But they it's not that just that they show it for a long time and really hone in on it and really like there's a lot of it. Whereas there's other shows, there's a lot less of that and more dialogue and things, you know. So I was surprised at how much they're really leaning into the looking at it. It's definitely not PG.
No, and my thought is it's probably like the first episode and the last episode. Kind of like last time they did that weird thing with like the open leg wound, or I don't know. It was
Yeah.
disgusting. And then they ended with a whole shooting massacre. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel like they start crazy, end crazy. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
But so at first the first shot is of Robbie driving or riding a motorcycle, driving a motorcycle, is that what you say? Riding?
On a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle, not wearing a helmet. Did you notice
Ah,
that?
I didn't even realize that. That's true. I just thought it was silly that he's on a motorcycle. Like that's such a cliche. The ER doc on a motorcycle. It's like Tom Cruise, Top Gun on the motorcycle. It's like lead of the thing on the motor. I just thought I was like, that is the dumbest, most cliche thing.
Well, it made me think like there's more to it. Like he wasn't wearing a helmet. I'm like, does this mean he just doesn't care if he lives or dies anymore? Is that what we're supposed to get from this scene? So
Maybe he's an organ donor and wants his organs to go get donated. Yeah,
I
I
bet.
didn't even realize that. That is really, you know, I just was so annoyed by the cliche of him on a motorcycle that
Mhm.
I didn't even notice he didn't have a helmet.
He did not
But
have a
yeah,
helmet.
he didn't have a helmet. Amazing. And I don't know if you remember Mariano, who's doing our social media for a while, who's an actor. I don't know if you remember his cousin, his first cousin, who actually came into our office because he's a photographer, took pictures of us, did some videos, was going to work for us. And this is already a couple of years now. A few days later, not wearing a helmet on a motorcycle, got hit and was in the ICU at the hospital, nearly died, had brain damage, nearly died, and it took him like over a year to finally come back. But there was a minute or two there where I was like lying to Mariano, saying, "Oh, he's going to be fine," whereas I thought this kid may be dead, brain dead,
I
dead.
mean, he's really lucky. I want to show you. I don't know if this is going to work. Uh, I have two clips that I
Yes,
added. Let's see if
love it.
it's going to work. So this
Okay.
one I wanted your thoughts on. This was like one of Robbie's first patients of the day that he clearly doesn't want.
Dr. Shen, but I'm going off shift. Dr. Rabinovich will be one of the doctors looking after you.
What other medications are you currently taking, Mr. Burgess?
I brought his meds. Thank you. These are his supplements, mostly all natural and organic where possible, and these are his homeopathic prescriptions. I also have a list of his refrigerated probiotics.
I just was wondering if you ever had patients come in with like loads of prescriptions like that. I thought that was pretty amusing.
It was very, I did like that. I thought that was, it gave me a chuckle, and it made me think of the fact that the show is definitely written by and conceived by Hollywood slash LA people, because
Yeah.
they were with the dog in the bag, the whole thing was just so LA. and the whole supplement thing. It's definitely not a Pitt thing. So that was a little out of sorts too. Like I can't imagine, although I'm sure there are people like that at the Pitt, but my guess is, but it was humorous. Yeah, people, especially LA people, are on a zillion different medicines and herbal stuff. But usually what I find is I always ask patients and we make them write what medicines they're on, and they don't include their supplements. They don't include their alternatives. They don't, and I usually, they'll write down none. And then I'll be like, specifically, part of my, routine that I'll say to them is, are you on any medicines, funky stuff, weird stuff, alternative thing, anything that you take in your body on a day-to-day basis? That's what I say. Funky stuff, weird stuff, alternative stuff. Because patients often won't even say what they're on. And it's definitely important to know because it definitely affects a lot of things. So, I mean, that's one interesting thing. They brought it all, but I see a lot of people are like, no, I take nothing. When it turns out they're on 50 things, that they don't realize could be affecting them.
Yeah, that is important. So that was the first clip. We have another one coming up, but Dr. Robbie goes in. They have a new attending. He's about to go on sabbatical for 3 months. So they have a new attending. And
Wait, so let's back up. So is this six? I thought that the show was going to be taking. Originally, I thought season 2 was just going to be the following day. Didn't you initially?
I don't know what I thought. So, but I did look it up. It's 10 months later.
Right. Okay. Well, we're able to kind of figure it out a little bit later because of the rehab guy, that he's back from rehab. Oh, so it's 10 months. I thought maybe it was just 6 months. 10 months. Okay. Right. It's a whole new year because there's, the students are now interns, the interns are now second years, and there's a new group. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a new attending that's going to be covering for him, and he asked the night shift nurse manager, what's she like? And basically, she said she's been torturing our trauma and med students. She came in early to meet the night shift and took things over. And Robbie says that takes giant balls of disrespect. So I didn't realize, I guess it would be very disrespectful to come in early. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it doesn't seem that bad that she wanted to meet the students, but he didn't like it.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that they're working the shift together. I would have thought that they would just, schedule some time, but I'm not an ER doctor.
What you were saying about the attending just meeting him before the shift change, I think that is what Dr. Robbie thought, and she wants to follow him around. That's probably why he's annoyed.
Right. Usually you would think she'd come in, hang out, schmooze, have a meeting, yada, yada, kind of get oriented, get situated, and then say, okay, have a great vacation. I'll be back tomorrow kind of thing.
Right.
So I think it was kind of like stepping on his toes that she's hanging around doctoring that day. Because if you remember in season 1, there was only one attending there during the day, right? And then his buddy came up, left in the morning and came back, the following day.
So then there was another scene I was going to ask you about where Dr. Mohan, she has her phone on. Her phone keeps going off while she's trying to help this guy with this trauma, try to save his life. And obviously she can't do anything about it because it's in her pocket and both her hands are in the guy's chest or whatever. That was one of the gross scenes where you probably couldn't eat dinner during. That's probably what you were talking about. But I was wondering, has that ever happened to you where you had a surgeon's phone go off while you were trying to save someone's life?
So I make it a policy to, in the OR, phone off. But there are doctors who deliberately take their phone out of the pocket, give it to the nurse and say, if my phone rings, could you answer it? Or I've seen even some doctors have headsets in, and if their phone rings, they say, answer the phone, and then they'll have a conversation. I think it's one of the most rude, distracting, inappropriate things to answer a phone when you're in surgery. I think it's bad doctoring. Now, if there's an emergency, your staff should know that you're in the OR, or someone should know that you're in the OR. And if there's a true emergency, there are phones, there are landlines in the OR, and occasionally our staff will call us, or someone will call us and say, "Hey, so and so's trying to reach you," yada yada, and then you break away. But I think cell phones in the OR, it's one of my pet peeves. It's totally inappropriate. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be done, especially like when it's and if it's an emergency in your middle of a procedure and it could wait. You scrub out, you pick up the phone, you make a call, you say, "Hey, honey, I'm going to be home 3 hours late. Bye."
Yeah.
But it's comical, and I enjoyed that a little bit, and
Yeah.
obviously it's setting it up because of her mom, the whole thing with her mom.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good for the script. I just figured you had real life thoughts on that.
Yeah,
Because it
but
did
it's
come
one
as
of my
really,
pet peeves.
yeah,
Phones in the OR, especially the guys who have conversations with the headsets. In my mind, the most inappropriate, ridiculous. They're not that important. I've heard the phone calls. They're not that important. It's
yeah,
definitely a pet peeve. But were you planning on talking about that scene?
yeah. I wanted to ask your thoughts because I figured you had some real life experience with people's phones in the OR. So that's
Right.
why I wanted to know.
No, but what about that particular procedure? Were we planning on talking about that?
Oh, I don't know I don't have a clip of that. What was that procedure? I don't even
So
know.
the funny thing is, I've done that exact thing as a surgery resident, where someone, it almost seemed like someone talked to me about that whole scenario, because that thing was, in fact, one screenplay that I wrote years ago when I was writing, has that scene in it. Like, it's almost like someone found my pathetic screenplay and stole my scene, which is really interesting. So, and it's a real thing, about cracking. We call it cracking the chest in the ER. Literally opening up their chest so that we have access to the heart to fix it and see what's going on, to potentially save someone. And there's certain indications why and when we would do that, and certain contraindications. Like if someone comes in, shot up dead in the field, we bring them in, we don't do that. But one of the things we'll do is, if someone starts out alive and is in the ambulance alive and then all of a sudden dies from some kind of trauma, usually a penetrating trauma to the chest, that's an indication where you have a chance to possibly save someone. So, especially like a stab wound, an isolated stab wound, which is exactly what happened to me, which is exactly what I wrote. We had this patient, and we'll say they came in dead. They started alive but died. They lost their vitals in the ambulance. So this patient had been stabbed in the chest, a single stab wound, in my experience, and we opened up their chest, got in there. I was a third-year medical student. It was so right on. I mean, I was bathed in blood at the end of that experience, and it turned out that there was a knife wound directly into the heart. So I took the heart, I sutured up the heart. I didn't do the thing with the lung, but the lung was okay. There was a hole in the heart, sutured it up. It was empty. They were transfusing to fill up the heart. I was squeezing the heart exactly, like that, and had to shock the heart. And we eventually got the heart back, but we kept losing it, which was really amazing. And then we'd get the rhythm back. We kept losing it because we worked for a while. Eventually, we got it back long enough that we took the patient up to the OR, and I had to hold on to the stretcher as they're moving it because I was still, squeezing the heart. And we worked for a while. Unfortunately, we never got the patient back. But it was so right on that experience. That I was like, someone got this from me.
Well, that's amazing because they say they try to strive for accuracy. So that's good because I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch, as we discussed.
But it's definitely a rite of passage as a surgeon going through surgery residency, and maybe as an ER resident too, but it's definitely a rite of passage doing that procedure, cracking a chest. That's like, that is such a rite of passage.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And then we move along. We see Dr. Langdon's back, who I like Dr. Langdon. I know he's got a drug problem, but he went to rehab for 10 months. I guess
That's the character. I don't know if we talked about it, that back to Mariano, I think he auditioned for that role.
I can see him playing that role. Although I think he looks a little young. But yeah,
But he's the right. Mariano's actually the right age. So
I know he just looks younger than he
yeah,
is.
I like how the guy's doing, but Mariano would have been better.
He would have been amazing.
Yeah,
I feel like this show's going to go on for so many seasons, just like ER. So
yeah.
he could be in it at some point.
Like I didn't like that Dr. Robbie is blowing off Langdon. I think that's too like, come on.
Exactly. So I was going to get to that. That was like a pressing question I had. I just didn't understand why he was being so mad at him. So I'm like, it's been 10 months. So apparently Noah Wiley had to do an interview about that because other people were wondering. And he says that Robbie feels that he failed Langdon as a mentor and as an attending. And that's like causing some of the anger. And also underlying is like that he's someone that's actually gone off and done the work, like the therapeutic process, which Dr. Robbie hasn't done. And he's about to do. So I think there's a little anger about that too.
It's like internalized stuff. Okay.
Yes.
All right,
So
that
that's
makes
what he said.
okay. That's better. Or
Yeah.
maybe they could show that he lost someone to it. That would work too.
That would work. But yeah, I agree with you. I was like, why is he like, this guy's trying to do the work? And he could have killed someone, but he didn't. I mean, I get why you would be angry, but
in today's date of acceptance and tolerance, it's even more unbelievable.
Right.
Like, you could, it
I
doesn't make
guess he
sense.
just
The
thought
olden days, maybe, but
yeah.
not today.
I guess he had just molded him or thought he molded him so perfectly. I don't know. It's obviously it's like some internal stuff is going on is what
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll talk about it. So
yeah. Instead of just be mad the whole 15-hour
right.
shift.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see more on that. And then I have one more clip for you.
What's up with you today, Mel? Lynn Galia?
What makes you think there's something up with me?
You're moping around here all day like somebody gunned down your favorite K-pop band.
I don't really have a favorite K-pop band. Not that I don't like the genre.
Wait, forget K-pop. What's going on with you? You usually ride in here on your unicorn tossing wildflowers.
Unicorn?
Never mind. Is everything okay with your sister?
Oh, yeah, she's great. It's just this...
Spill, girl.
Well, a couple of months ago, I got named in a malpractice lawsuit. And so today is the deposition.
That's it? Every emergency medicine doc gets sued sooner or later. Seriously, don't sweat it. You're still a resident. We're protected by the hospital. You could cut somebody's head off and get away with it. But don't. You won't want to become known as the one who put Mel in malpractice.
Hey.
So I thought since we've talked about malpractice before, you might have some thoughts on that clip, which was adorable.
Yeah, no, I like that they're talking about it, and it really affects caregivers, being sued. I mean, granted, a mistake has been made and it affects people's lives, but people don't realize, we talked about it on our last episode, I think, we go into this to really try to help, not because we're, cowboys or glory seekers or money, we go into this to help people. So, you get sued, even if it's a minor thing, even if you did everything totally right, that stays with you and forever. You never forget, getting sued, and people don't realize that. People see, I got hurt by something, they didn't care. Here's my payday. Ka-ching, I could make $1 gazillion suing everybody.
I thought it was good that they brought it up too, because people don't think about that. They think about how much hospitals make or doctors make or surgeons make. And it's like, they don't see half of the problem. It's not because of your salary that people's bills are high. That has nothing to do with anything.
Right. And by having to deal with insurance and malpractice insurance and all that, unfortunately, it takes away from us being able to be better at dealing with these problems and preventing these problems, because we're focused on the wrong thing. We're focused on the paying our malpractice insurance. Instead, if people weren't so lawsuit happy, we'd be able to police ourselves better and focus on improvement, use that money for better care, for better education, and use that time better. So that's, I think that's why the healthcare system is broken more than anything, is unfortunately because of lawyers.
Yeah,
I
no,
hate
I
to
agree.
say.
And I assume we're gonna get to see Mel's like thing that she has to do, which I'm looking forward to. That
Yeah,
there's another layer to this that they're showing, which is cool. Because
yeah,
I'm sure they have like listened to doctor stories and they know the truth. So I think
yeah,
the Pitt's gonna reveal some more, which is
yeah.
cool.
And
Um,
the other thing, my joke is when I'll talk to students or people, there we could eliminate all errors. Have I told this to you before? I'm sure I have. We could have a zero error rate, a zero complication rate. We could have 100% perfect healthcare. Do you know how we could do it?
not treating patients.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the only way. As long as we're humans, and even when it's AI doing it and robots doing it, I hate to break it to the world, there's still going to be errors and there's still going to be mistakes, and people just have to realize that. That's what life is. Every last one of us has an expiration date. And
Right. And I think, well, they did reference AI. The doctor that Robbie's taking over for did reference someone they attending talking about AI, and he stopped listening 'cause it sounded like robots to him. But one of the Pit creators was saying AI is going to come into play more because it's basically become like the Doctor Google. So I think we'll see a little bit more of that too.
the other, taking it one step further, are we going to only be watching AI TV shows and movies at some point too?
I mean, I've seen some trailers lately that I'm like, I do think AI could write this. I
Yeah,
don't know. There's
yeah,
not a lot to it. So I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, as a wannabe writer, I hope not, but
yeah,
it's probably coming.
yeah.
So we'll see. Um, there was one more thing about the episode. So the episode wasn't very long, but there was like a little girl story that sounds horrible. I don't know if she's been raped. Something I probably don't want to be a storyline, but I'm sure it does happen in ERs. But that little girl, I was like, where do I know her from? Where do I know her from? Do you know where you know her from?
No.
The Bear. She's Richie's daughter. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is she? Did you look it up?
She was in the wedding episode. I know because I saw that so many times. It
She
must be
seemed
her.
interesting. Is she from the Bear? Did you look it up?
No, I didn't look it up. I was just going to see if you agreed with me. Hold on.
I didn't focus that much on her. I think I was running up to get more food while during focusing on her. But yeah, that's an interesting episode. Oh, that's yeah.
Is
Um,
she in the Pit? Let's see. It's gotta be. It looks just like her.
does
She
it?
is. It's her. It's
Oh
her.
wow, interesting. Wow, she's going to be a star, maybe, right? We'll see what happens to her.
Yeah. I'm not liking that storyline, but
Is she a nepo baby? Is she is she a celebrity's kid?
I don't think so. Her name's Annabelle Tomey.
Okay.
Another name.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, no, it's definitely anytime you see a kid with any kind of injury thing like that, you do have to think about abuse, and I've, being back, during my training at the county, we definitely saw a lot of, we didn't necessarily see, we had to work up every case, but whether or not it was abuse related, I don't remember how many were, but we worked up a ton of cases like that and had to get social work involved and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's real life, so they're showing it, but yeah,
Yeah.
it sticks with me. It's hard. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Um,
I'm happy the charge nurse is back. The blonde.
yes, Nurse Dana. I was gonna say, and now she's got a NP walking around with her, and she's pretty funny with her.
Yeah.
Um, the way they were taking a unhoused man to the showers, and she told the new NP, she was like, "We're doing the Lord's work," and it really kind of is like they are. I'm like, nobody's helping this guy, but they are.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Uh,
she's one of my favorites.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She
Yeah.
always she like somehow lights up the place.
Yeah.
So she's back. I don't know if they're gonna go into why she decided to come back. I assume so. There's a lot more they have to say. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
The only other thing I noticed was there was a elderly patient, a woman, and she seemed so happy, and she told Dr. Mohan that she's fine now with all of her ailments because she eats like 12 cookies a day, 12 wheat cookies a day.
Oh yeah, that was funny too. That was interesting.
And
Yeah.
but Dr. Mohan was like, there is a dementia risk that they're saying might be associated with marijuana. So I don't know. I was curious too if you ever had any patients come in that were like eating too many gummies, and you were like, you might want to hold
No,
back, or you
I,
don't say anything.
I haven't seen that, but I definitely see patients taking chronic narcotics who I say to them, go talk to a marijuana doctor because Dr. Yafai, shout out to Dr. Yafai of the Relief
Mhm.
Institute, she actually helps get patients off of narcotics using cannabis and then tapers them off of cannabis, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
She's a cool doc.
Cool doc.
Yeah, so I think that was all of the episode. It's going to get into a lot more. I'm excited to see where it goes over 15 episodes.
Are we supposed to like the new doctor, or do you think people like that new doctor? The one who's taking over for Dr. Robbie.
Intending, I think, well, she like freezes when she looks at the baby. There's also a missing baby storyline, and
Right.
I don't know what happens to her. So my thought is she's not even going to last a few episodes, and Dr. Robbie's not going to get to leave. But
Right.
maybe
Interesting. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
he'll be stuck there. I don't know. It's 4th of July. There's going to be other gnarly injuries. We'll see.
There's definitely going to be firework injury. I've seen that. So I'll be surprised if there's not that.
More eye stuff I have to look away from. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Things
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I'm watching. I'm going to watch the other show with Josh Charles. We can talk about that in a future episode.
Oh yeah. What's the name of that one?
Best Medicine.
Good. The funny thing about Josh Charles and Noah Wiley is they kind of have similar looks,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's funny, like two medical shows, two similar looks. It almost seems like every time a medical show comes out, there's always like a competing, somewhat similar medical show. Usually one makes it, knocks it out of the park, and one does okay, hangs around for a little while, and then dies. Like, remember Chicago Hope and ER? Kind of similar, different. ER knocked it out of the park. Chicago Hope stayed around for a little while, and then
Mm-hmm.
fizzled and died. So it's interesting to see how that happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Pitt's going to be higher quality. It's HBO. So
Interesting.
we'll see. See what
We
happens
will
with
see.
Josh Charles.
And there
Are
you
there
go.
any other like storylines that you hope as a doctor that they show that the Pitt season 2 that you think would be interesting?
Well, I do. I don't want to. I almost don't want to say it because I think I know it's just a matter of time before they call me up and say, Dr. Cohen, we need you to help on the show. So I don't want to give it away because obviously they already stole my cracked chest thing. But one thought is it would be nice to see a day in the life of the trauma surgeon and put it through her perspective. That fellow who I like. So I think I was hoping that would be this season. Have it through her perspective because she's a potentially cool character too.
Right.
And have it. So that's kind of my suggestion is through her eyes.
Yeah, I would like to see the surgeon. I mean, that was Dr. Benton, right? In ER, like he was like my favorite character. So I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, and I like her as a character, and they don't really get that in depth with her, but I think that could be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Or just through the Pit, but through the the trauma surgeon standpoint.
I love it. I feel like they're probably going to do that at some point, maybe in season 10.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to Gross Anatomy, where we dissect the Pit.
Thanks, everyone.